Biafrans expresses disappointment that Finland, traditionally seen as a neutral and fair country, has allegedly betrayed Simon Ekpa, a Biafran leader, by collaborating with Nigeria to suppress the Biafran independence movement. Simon Ekpa is accused of terrorism, but supporters argues that he has committed no crimes, highlighting his open support for Biafran self-determination. The detention of Simon Ekpa has sparked international outrage, with human rights groups and the international community criticizing Finland for violating human rights principles by detaining him on unfounded terrorism charges. The Finnish government is accused of colluding with Nigeria, violating international law and betraying its own citizen, Simon Ekpa, to suppress the Biafran struggle for independence. Simon Ekpa's arrest is framed as a larger attack on the Biafran movement, with accusations of violence and state-sponsored terrorism against the Biafran people by Nigeria, supported by international silence. They call on international organizations like the United Nations to hold Finland and Nigeria accountable and demand Simon Ekpa's release. They argue that human rights are often disregarded when it comes to Africans, particularly the Biafrans, drawing comparisons with how international human rights laws are applied differently to European versus African issues. They compare Simon Ekpa's case with other instances of unlawful detentions, suggesting that the international community is not taking adequate action to protect human rights in these situations. Despite the challenges, they emphasize the importance of the Biafran struggle for self-determination and urge the people to continue the fight for their independence, regardless of the external obstacles. This is quite a story, one that I don't think many people expected to unfold the way it has. Imagine a country, Finland, one that has always been known for standing up for fairness, human rights, and neutrality, suddenly doing something so shocking it leaves the whole world questioning what's really going on. And this is about Simon Ekpa, a leader of the Biafran movement, a man who has spent so much of his life fighting for his people's right to self-determination, only to be handed over, betrayed by the very government that should have protected him. And the worst part, Simon Ekpa is a citizen of Finland, and his rights seem to have meant very little in the grand scheme of politics. Let me tell you the full story, because there's so much going on behind the scenes, and the more you hear about it, the more you realize how deep this goes. It's not just about Simon Ekpa anymore. It's about a struggle for the freedom of an entire people, the Biafrans, whose hopes for independence have been constantly under attack, both from within Nigeria and now, surprisingly, from Finland too. The betrayal is hard to understand, especially when you consider how Finland has always prided itself on being a country that stands up for justice. To put this into context, you have to understand who Simon Ekpa is. This man has never been someone to shy away from speaking his truth. He has always openly supported the idea of Biafran independence, and anyone who knows anything about his history can tell you he's never hidden his beliefs. From the very start of his involvement with the Biafran cause, he's been vocal, he's been brave, and he's been open about everything he's done. He's not a man who would sneak around in the shadows or plot behind closed doors. No, Simon Ekpa has always been up front, and it's that openness that made his arrest even more puzzling. But now, the Finnish government has been accused of betraying him, of siding with Nigeria and arresting Simon Ekpa on charges of terrorism. It's a strange twist, isn't it? Finland, a country known for its neutrality and strong stance on human rights, suddenly arresting one of its own citizens, a man who has done nothing wrong except for voicing his support for the Biafran people. Human rights groups and people all over the world have condemned Finland's actions, saying they violated international law by holding Simon Ekpa without valid charges, and now they're calling for his release. What makes the situation even worse is the fact that Simon Ekpa is being held under the pretense of being a terrorist. There is no evidence, no proof, just allegations that seem to be based on his outspoken views and his support for the independence of Biafra. It's not as though Simon Ekpa has committed acts of violence or terrorism himself. He hasn't bombed buildings or attacked innocent people. No, Simon Ekpa's crime is simply that he believes in the right of his people to determine their own future. This is where the world starts to pay attention. People are outraged. The whole situation has sparked international controversy. It's as if a switch has been flipped and the world is now looking at Finland with critical eyes, asking, how could a nation with such a solid record of human rights involvement suddenly betray its own principles? Human rights organizations, including the United Nations, have come out and criticized the way Finland has handled Simon Ekpa's case. They've pointed out that what Finland has done is a clear violation of international human rights laws, and yet the Finnish government remains silent, offering no real explanation for why they've chosen to cooperate with Nigeria in this way. Biafrans, understandably, are furious. They feel betrayed by Finland, a country that they had trusted to protect one of their own. They've always looked to Finland as an example of how a government should behave, a country that doesn't just talk about justice, but actually acts on it. So to see Finland, a nation known for being an advocate for self-determination, suddenly turning a blind eye to the Biafran people's struggle, it's more than just disappointing. It feels like a slap in the face. And it's not just Biafrans who are upset. The international community has taken notice too. Many are now asking whether human rights laws apply equally to all people, or whether there's a double standard when it comes to the treatment of Africans, especially Biafrans. There's a growing sense that the world has been silent for too long when it comes to the suffering of the Biafran people. Why is it that when European citizens face oppression or human rights violations, the world rushes to their aid, but when it's Africans, especially Biafrans, the response is tepid at best? To understand this better, think about how different things are when the issue involves a European citizen. If a European were detained by a foreign government under similar circumstances, the international response would likely be swift and strong. There would be demands for immediate release, and sanctions could follow if the detention were deemed unjust. Human rights laws that are supposed to protect all people seem to be selectively enforced, depending on where you live and who you are. Simon Ekpa's arrest has only highlighted this disparity. It's not just a violation of his personal rights, it's an attack on the entire Biafran movement, and by extension, it's an attack on the rights of every Biafran who dreams of a better future. The Biafran independence movement is not just about one man or one group of people. It's about the struggle of an entire nation, a nation that has been oppressed for decades, a nation that is still fighting for its right to exist, free from the control of Nigeria. What's even more heartbreaking is how this situation plays into the larger story of violence and oppression that the Biafran people have been subjected to for years. The Nigerian government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, has been accused of committing atrocities against the Biafran people, including killings, torture and forced disappearances. Many of these actions have been carried out by Nigerian military forces, and yet the international community remains mostly silent, offering only weak statements of concern. But now, with Finland's involvement, the story has taken on a new dimension. The Finnish government's decision to side with Nigeria in the arrest of Simon Ekpa has raised the stakes. It's no longer just a matter of what's happening inside Nigeria. It's about international complicity, and it's about how countries like Finland, who claim to support human rights, are choosing to ignore the suffering of the Biafran people in favor of political expediency. The world is watching, and for the first time in a long time, Biafrans are speaking out with one voice, demanding justice for Simon Ekpa and for the thousands of others who have suffered in silence. They're calling for international organizations like the United Nations to step in, to hold both Finland and Nigeria accountable for their actions, and to demand the release of Simon Ekpa, whose only crime is his unwavering support for the independence of Biafra. The stakes are high and the road ahead is uncertain. But one thing is clear: the Biafran struggle for self-determination is far from over. Simon Ekpa's arrest has only galvanized the movement, bringing more attention to the cause than ever before. And even though the world may have turned a blind eye for so long, the Biafran people are determined to keep fighting, to keep speaking out, and to ensure that their voices are heard. As they continue to push forward, they know the path will not be easy. The challenges are immense, but so is their resolve. They've faced countless obstacles, from the Nigerian government's attempts to crush the movement to the international community's silence, but they've never given up. And they won't give up now. In the face of this betrayal, the Biafran people are more determined than ever. The struggle for independence continues, and Simon Ekpa's story is now a symbol of the larger fight for justice, freedom, and human rights. The world may have turned its back on Biafra for now, but the Biafran people know that history will not forget them. They will continue to fight, continue to speak, and continue to demand the justice they deserve. The arrest of Simon Ekpa in Finland has not only sent shockwaves through the Biafran community, but it's also made the world take a long, hard look at how international relations and human rights are handled on the global stage.
It's so sad that we see these things happen again and again and again against Africans. We see European countries committing crime against humanity in Africa. We see European countries sponsoring terrorism in Africa, directly and indirectly. We see European countries involving in enslavement in Africa, even in 21st century. But we never imagine that Finland will be part of those countries who will get involved in such kind of evil act. Every one of us know that Mazi Simon Ekpa has not committed any crime, including the Finnish authority. There was nothing Mazi Simon Ekpa did in Finland that he did in the secret. Mazi Simon Ekpa has always been an outspoken person when it comes to the issue of Biafra. From the very first day he started to get fully involved in the issue of Biafra, he made it official. And he tendered evidence, credible evidence, of why he's doing what he's doing and what he's doing at every point in time. He has never done anything in secret. But it's unfortunate that we have gotten to this level where we, the Biafrans, can no longer keep silent and pretend that all is well. All is not well. There is no sensible person that will watch the press conference yesterday by Dr. Levy and the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, and your heart will remain the same. No. And we have seen press statements that have been released by some international organizations on what is happening. And there is no way, if you are human, you will see those press release and yet your mind will remain the same. It will not. The Biafrans have tried as much as they can to give the Finnish authority enough time to do what they have to do. But from every indication, we are still seeing that the laws on this planet Earth has different meanings to different people at different point in time. We have now understood once again that people cannot be treated equally. It is sad that it is happening. It is sad. There was never a time we prayed to get this far. But for the fact that Finland have allowed us to drag this very issue up to this moment, for the fact that the Finnish authority have allowed this to happen up to this moment, they have given us no choice than to do what we have to do. And as if that is not enough, I thank you, there are still some international organizations are weighing in, and they are being a voice for the voiceless. It is sad. If you see what I'm sharing there on the platform of our Deputy Prime Minister, you can hear breaking, betrayed by Finland. Biafra Prime Minister Simon Ekpa arrest spark global outrage. And I want us to go into it and see what we have there. Betrayed by Finland. Biafra Prime Minister Simon Ekpa arrest spark global outrage. It is not just the Biafrans speaking this time. The world is speaking. And I'll read some portion of this very article for us to draw our word from there. And it reads, the prolonged detention of Simon Ekpa, Prime Minister of the self-declared United States of Biafra, by the Finnish authority at the behest of the Nigerian government has ignited fresh international debate on human rights, self-determination, and freedom struggle in Africa. In a strongly worded statement issued in Abuja, Dr. Ngozi Orebweze, Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra, condemned what she described as Finland's calculated betrayal of its own citizen. Dr. Orebweze accused the Finnish government of colluding with Nigeria to suppress the voice of Biafrans by detaining Simon Ekpa under allegation of terrorism while investigations are ongoing. This is not just an assault on one man, but a calculated attempt to weaken the struggle for Biafra's self-determination and embolden Nigeria's oppressive policies against Biafra, she declared. Dr. Orebweze pointed to escalating violence in the Biafran region, allegedly orchestrated by the Nigerian states and led by Defense Chief Christopher Musa, who has vowed to dismantle the Biafran movement. She cited recent killing of Biafran civilians, which she claimed were carried out by integrated terrorists acting under the Nigerian government order. Simon Ekpa's only crime is his unwavering defense of Biafran citizens against state-backed terror, she said. The statement also called on Biafrans to remain resilient and continue funding their self-defense effort. Dr. Orebweze urged Finland and Norway to respect international human rights laws and self-determination principles, warning against the criminalization of freedom fighters. This controversy comes amidst growing allegations of Nigerian human rights abuses, which have drawn criticism from organizations such as the United Nations and Amnesty International. Dr. Orebweze reiterated that Biafran independence is not just Simon Ekpa's vision, but a collective aspiration of a marginalized people. She urged the international community to hold Finland and Nigeria accountable, demanding Ekpa's immediate release to ensure the safety of his life. The struggle for Biafra independence is far from over. History will judge those who choose to suppress rather than support it, Dr. Orebweze concluded. The world now watches as this clash of policies, sovereignty, and human rights unfold. And that is what it is. This is nothing but a clash of politics, sovereignty, and human rights. That is what it is. Nothing else. My fellow Biafrans that are watching anywhere you are watching this program from, you can agree with me that we have come to a stage where we can no longer be silent. We can no longer continue to pretend that all is well. All is not well. And we can no longer continue to paint walls. Since the Finnish authority have refused to do the needful, we are left with no other choice than to speak and demand for the unconditional release of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. You can see the Daily Post update. It said, Simon Ekpa, Ayoba Cho group raises alarm over prolonged detention of separatists. They will always write in their own terms. But what we have to know today is that there is now global outrage. And it is no longer business as usual. Voices are coming out from all angles, from all corners, speaking out on the situation of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. Every one of us should tighten up our belts. It will no longer be business as usual. We have waited for too long to get this far. And we have done a lot to get this far. And we cannot allow anybody to take away our freedom from us, nor delay it anymore. The time has come. We never knew we would get to this point. But now that we have gotten to this point, we are left with no choice than to go all out and call out the Finnish government on the role they are playing today in listening to the Nigerian government for one interest or other to continue to hold Mazi Simon Ekpa incommunicado. From their own investigation, we all know that Mazi Simon Ekpa is not guilty of all the charges they brought towards him. None. He wasn't found guilty of any. Why is the investigation taking forever? And you see the comparison our lawyer made yesterday with the case of Cho Ayoba. The same thing. Detention while investigation continues, and investigation can take forever. These same tactics cannot be applicable to a white person. It boils down to racism. When it comes to human rights and things happen to Biafrans, things that have to do with Africans more especially, human rights is not applicable. Humans no longer have rights. When the issue has to do with blacks, more especially Biafrans, humans lose their rights. The same people that will preach human rights, the same people that will preach humanity, when it comes to the issue of the blacks, more especially Biafrans, they forget about humanity, they forget about human rights. And they allow the abuse of human rights to go to the highest level. They allowed it in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They allowed it in Cho Ayoba. And today they are allowing the same thing on our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. The Western interests. They don't care about us. They don't care about us. Now you understand why every one of us have to stand up for ourselves. It is you and I that will stand up for us. Nobody will fight for you. Nobody will stand up for you. If you refuse to speak or stand up, nobody will do it for you. And the earlier you understand this, the better. Before we proceed, I will allow my beloved brother Akonyo Wetere to give us an opening speech. With the Africans, human rights is no longer applicable. You only see people talk about human rights, pursue human rights, speak about human rights when it comes to the issue that has to do with an European or a white person. But when it has to do with Africans, human rights is no longer applicable. Today we can see another human rights abuse happening before the whole world in broad daylight. We all can see the human rights abuse that is happening today, and the whole world is watching it and doing nothing. The right of a citizen is being abused in broad daylight. It started from Mazen Nandekano. They abused his rights, made their plan and kidnapped him from Kenya, extraordinarily renditioned him to Nigeria, which is against international law. Nigeria government violated everything that needs to be violated. And we were waiting to see the response of the world. And the country that gave him citizenship, they were all silent. We were waiting to hear from the United Nations. United Nations came in and they issued an ultimatum. That ultimatum was violated, and after that there was no sanction, no reprimanding at all. They kept on doing what they are doing. Amnesty International is very much aware of the crime against humanity in Nigeria. They have reported on Nigeria on several occasions, and yet these same people that bring this very bad report about Nigeria will still be there, and they see them going round and round and round and pushing their evil agenda, and they do nothing. When we saw the case of Mazen Nandekano, we thought we have seen it all. In broad daylight, Cho Ayoba was kidnapped in Norway. The Norwegian government took Cho Ayoba for no just cause, for flimsy excuses and unnecessary accusations. These are freedom fighters who are defending themselves against tyrants, against terrorist governments. Cho Ayoba was kidnapped in Norway, and they said they're investigating. It's been months, and they are still investigating. What are they investigating? That a freedom fighter who is fighting to defend his land has no right to defend himself. Every one of us should be able to know that the time has come for us to fight for ourselves. The time has come for us to stand up for ourselves. Nobody is going to do it if we don't do it. This statement I'm projecting here is a statement that was released by one of the organizations that Biafra belongs. It says, OEAS raises concern about detention of activists in EU. This is an organization of emerging African states, of which we are a member of it. They have written to the Washington, D.C., and it reads, Biafra and Ambazonia are a charter member of the Organization of Emerging African States, OEAS, an international government organization that promotes self-determination and the end to colonial era boundaries in Africa. Today, the OEAS has released the attached declaration raising concern about continued detention in Finland and Norway of EU citizens Ayaba Lucas Cho and Ekpa Simon Njoko. Norway and Finland, based on representations from the serial human rights abusers Nigeria, and Cameroon have accused Ekpa and Cho of war crime, terrorism, and crimes against humanity. Norway and Finland should be mindful that the accusers themselves are responsible for the situation in their respective countries, which resulted only after decades of their ongoing oppression of the Biafran and Ambazonian people. Hopefully, I'm going to read all the speech. They have released a statement. This is the statement. Hopefully, I'm going to read all of it so that we can be able to go through it and listen together. That is the statement that OEAS, Organization for Emerging African States, released and they sent to Washington, D.C. All these things are being done so that the world will not say we didn't talk. We know they might not listen. We know they might not care. But we will not stop talking. We will continue to shout on top of our voices and continue to take action at the same time. We know that our freedom is in our hands. Nobody can do it for us except we do it. And we must do it without waiting for anybody. Apostle Stephen, you are there. Please go on and speak to us, Apostle Stephen.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, my brother. Welcome.
I am so angry and at the same time happy. Why I am happy is because it is a high time. Whatever they give you, like somebody is dashing you something, you can never enjoy it like something you fought, like something you work and harvest by yourself. And I am not surprised. Yes, we just wanted to have a means of doubting what Finland can do, but our leader PM normally trusts them. But we made it at the end to hear that they have joined NATO. That's the time I know that Finland has entered their occultism, which France is the chief of the occultism. So, and as it is now, after the other Niger and the other countries have chasing France away, Nigeria now has already started going back to go and romance with France. So romancing with France is automatically saying to France to persuade Finland that is not being corrupt before to be corrupt. To be corrupted, because Finland has never been like that. Nobody have known them as a country that do well much in corruption. So, but that because they have entered that gang of evil, which France is the coordinator. So they have to begin to listen to the France. Listen to France and do whatever the bidding they bring on table. This is what they played out, and France have to persuade the member. And I thank God, like a man like Donald Trump, who can Paris climate change, all those, begin to sign out America so that you can be able to stand on your own and know who you are. I want to say this clearly. Biafra freedom take a new shape when PM came on board, and Mazen Nnamdi made that statement categorically clear that this guy is coming to bring a new dimension. A new dimension, not story dimension. Mazen Nnamdi did extremely well in a theory dimension. He gave us lectures. He gave the whole world lectures. He he gave Hausas lectures, and everybody understand who you are. This one is not issue of religion or whatever. This one understanding who you really are. If Biafra has been an European country that has fought civil war, by now, even if they did not wake up of talking about being free totally in these years, 50-something years after war, somebody supposed to wake up from there to do it in order to get as a hero, that I am the one that brought it up, and they sign it out and they become the independent country because they have paid the price. Is there any country in this world that will say that they not know what Biafra went through? Even Finland history say there are, when the moment the students don't even eat because they know what children of Biafra are going through, that you use starvation, use it and kill children, and children died not by bullet but by starvation, which they are titled and they say that is worst crime on earth. That even in this current war that is going on in Gaza, there all of them are trying to show their ugly face by carrying blood to those people in IDP camps to feed them. But Biafra children, about 3 million, was destroyed not by bullet, but they died. These people, they may not even say that how can you starve children to die? But the God of Biafra, God who knows that this tribe has a strong program as far as humanity is concerned, deal with sustain them. That is, there was a group of people who did not die totally from the agenda of the enemy, because they wanted to wipe that generation away, that nobody will wake up again and mention Biafra. As I said before, Nnamdi Kanu did what called theory work. He did theory well. He did it. When he wanted to set up the practical, God knows what he's doing. It's like Moses and Joshua. But Moses and Joshua, Moses died, but Joshua took over. But Nnamdi Kanu did not die. But God allowed it with the plan and the evil plan, which Kenya was the chief the road they use in kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu, taking him out of this space. And God has raised a man like our Prime Minister, and he took over. The mantle took over. When Nnamdi Kanu was doing the theory, this young man, our Prime Minister, did not buy. This spirit has not entered him. He was defending the empire or the supermarket that British created, which called Nigeria, where they are eating and enjoying themselves. The young man was defending them until God said it is time. Joshua, prepare yourself, it is time, take over. And the spirit entered him. The spirit entered him. Nnamdi Kanu will be alive. The Simon Ekpa will be alive, and they will be celebrated alive. It's not celebrating them in death. What I am trying to say is that it is high time that Biafra will know, as one of our sisters have said, that this thing can never come from these people we expected. They can never give us what we are looking for. They can never defend us. But glory be to God, who has made it possible that Biafra have been declared. And this is the plan they have. They have this plan. Thank God that this lioness, our COS, now was smart enough to be able to take every step every step. It seems like he was taking it from the heart of our PM, and he be able to declare Biafra. He declared Biafra that 29. If have not been that, what they wanted to do is to be able to use those cankerworm within system, within Biafra cabinet, and be able to make sure that they delay the declaration. I choose, sir, let me say this to every Biafran. If have been that this thing has happened, I am telling you, what happened, the Biafra coming will never be, in fact, it will not be in our time. It will not be in our generation. But what we know that Biafra has become a spirit that can possess any other person. But the thing is possible in this generation, I don't think it's possible. But God did it. No matter their plan and their program, the Biafra was declared before the time. That's why the Bible says, I will go. The Lord said that he had made the wisest of enemy. He had made them to become foolishness. They were shocked that Biafra was really declared. Anywhere Biafra is going now, matter of Biafra is going now, is going as an independent nation that need to secure their territory, that need to secure their land borders, which means Biafrans, everyone should wake up. It until the Biafran give them what they need before they can know, but before they will know that these people have been is ready to take their freedom by the hand. I am here to tell you there's nothing again. Thank God that the Biafra have been declared, and what we are looking for is to be able to go ahead, defend our territory, defend our border. When they begin to see what they are not supposed to see, they will know that this generation is not that generation of our that was swallowed that time. There are things God has given to us, wisdom and the equipment. We must defend ourselves. We will not wait for them. We must defend ourselves. Both in media, they cannot close it. Both everywhere on the land, we must defend ourselves. They are crying that, and they are the one that invented the social media. They cannot cancel it. We must defend ourselves. In social media, we will continue talking. In the Biafra land, men, you, all of us, we must carry report, defend ourselves. How can you come to kill me and I close mouth? Go punish that person that say, I will open my eyes and die as a chicken. Even a chicken is better. A chicken can run, can run because he knows that you want to kill it. He will shout and spread its wings and fly away. But he cannot say to Biafra that he will be killing Biafra. Okay, in Western Nigeria, in the Yoruba now, they have already started Sharia law. Who have ever had this? That these people and these people close mouth. You don't hear the cry of others. They have started the Sharia law. Others are saying no. They are protecting. They are doing this. We did not change anything. They have started it. It has started. And this is what Nnamdi was shouting. And Simon Ekpa came and carried it up and shout, oh, rise up, oh, and defend yourself. Even retired soldier mention it. How can he said that in Nigeria, the security agencies, Nigeria army, is colluding with them. He collude, and no international body carry that news. No international body carry that news. If it is anything that something that have no head, if it is issue of religion, pastor or whatever, you know that we cannot do it. CNN will carry it. This one will carry it. But you hear a general saying that Nigeria is supporting, is the one colluding with the terrorists. Nobody, no international news carry it. Biafrans, it is time that we will rise up and take our destiny in our hands. Listen, this is issue. You can't move. God can't move until you move. God can't move until you move. We must move and take our destiny in our hands. One thing I know, that no matter whatever they're doing in Finland, our PM must come out. Shortly, he must come out. But I pity them that in those in our borders, they will see it like never before. They will see it like never before. Even if it is our PM normally say, I am the last bus stop. This generation is the last bus stop. I just want to hand the mic. The other person will talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Apostle Stephen. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for that amazing speech. You have spoken very well, and the Biafrans have heard you and heard you clearly. You made some great points, and it is clear that our fate is in our hand. The Western interest has played its game again. We waited to make it clearer before we speak, and now we are not only speaking, other international organizations are also weighing in, and we can't be silent. I welcome you, my beloved brother Christian. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate you, my brother Christian. Thank you for joining us. And go ahead and speak to us, my brother Christian. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, morning, Mazi Chiefs.
You're welcome, my brother.
Thank you so much for the effort, for your consistency. You know, that is the key. So we appreciate a lot. Thank you so much. But I don't know, because it's been very busy for me in and out and stuff. So is there any, because I don't want to like deviate or go there. I don't know what exactly. Is it from the program yesterday that?
Yeah, based on the program yesterday, based on the press conference yesterday by the Deputy Prime Minister and the lawyer. So that's what we are speaking. It is now very, very clear that the Finnish authorities, Finnish government have somehow colluded with Nigerian government indirectly to continue to detain Simon. And when you see the lawyer comparing it with what is happening to Joe Ayoba today, he drag it that it is just the same thing as playing out in Norway and in Finland. It's really worrisome, and we have to speak about it. You know, we have waited a long time until it becomes clearer.
Yeah, but the thing is that, obviously, like for me, way before now, maybe a year or maybe 2 years ago, thereabout, when Finland was struggling, they began to struggle, and there was attempt by some countries to stop them from joining NATO. So that is when I knew personally. I felt that that was going to be like the deal breaker. So countries like Britain, you know, I like to speak of what I know. You know, but I think France also, because more or less they are like 5 and 6. You know, France is handling the Francophone, the Cameroon and stuff like that. You know, the Britain, of course, Nigeria is their business center. Everybody knows that. They can everybody knows that. So obviously they can work together on this ground to keep, you know, just doing what they've been doing forever. So I don't mean sword when I say that these are our enemies. These are our natural enemies, and it's not going to change. It just not. You see, racism. Having lived in Western world for many decades now, I came to the conclusion that it's a natural phenomenon. You know,
it is.
So it's not something. So it is a natural phenomenon. They try to kind of, you know, but we know at the end of the day what it is. And for Finland, they've been kind of like neutral or nice to an extent, but it got to a point, like I say, maybe a year or two ago, where they had to succumb, you know, because their quest to join NATO was also on condition-based. You remember that our PM was interviewed, Simon Ekpa was interviewed maybe a year or two ago also by a British correspondent, if you remember, right?
Yeah, sent by Arise Television. And they refused to air it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't ordinary. This is how they roll, you know. They use every apparatus, you know, but at the end of the day, the main figurehead remains what you see. So obviously from then and then with the Finland pushing to join, So, and Turkey and some few, I think mostly Turkey was became a hindrance, an obstacle in their way to joining NATO. That is where Britain and the French, they step in and say, this guy is causing problem, or in their own eyes, because for them Nigeria is their business entity, So, and if you try to disrupt their business entity, they will go after you. They did it with their own citizen, their own Nnamdi Kanu, who carries their own, who has their citizenship. So they collaborated with the zoo and some of our idiotic or greedy Biafrans too in the DOS, and the governors put together, because it takes a lot, and they all worked together to cement the situation that Nnamdi Kanu is in now. But we are not perturbed. We are not that we won't be stopped. You can be rest assured. And we thank you, that you continue to raise men and women who will not give in. So, and they are strong, but God is stronger than them. I've always known that, they will all collapse on their own weight, because what they engaged in is evil, pure man's inhumanity to man. That is what their behavior is all about. Anybody can want to spin it however they want, but it's just obvious fact that what you do not or treat others the way you want them treat yourself. That is what the word of God says, right? But they don't believe in all these things. This is not how they roll, So they don't believe in God. They don't believe in humanity. They just say it in the mouth, but it's not in their heart. I'm telling you, having lived with this people for so long, forget all this. That one was telling me that if we are doing blah blah blah, we won't let you people talk. I say, are you kidding me? So, but what can I say? Everything will come to a head very soon, and they will be put to shame. They will definitely be put to shame, because if you can't continue to hold people down, and they didn't do anything, and you think that by nature will allow you to continue, a lot is happening, and a lot will continue to happen moving forward. Like I always said, Trump, that is like America never really had, maybe many decades or centuries ago, or maybe few that are different. Or unlike what they have now, whom that is Trump, whom doesn't necessarily, he doesn't go with the flow, yeah? He doesn't just so, and that is why there's so much opposition to him too, because they know that this evil globalist agenda, he doesn't buy it. He may do something, he sometimes occasionally maybe he can go wrong or do something. Of course, he's a human being, he has his own interest too as a human being, but in overall scheme of things, he just doesn't roll with them. So, and it's incredible that these are people who from the get-go came together and decided that the black man was going to be at the bottom of all races. I keep saying it, and it's not accident. And but having said that, I think there is enough blame to go around, because as you make your bed, so you lie on it. So we are not immune or exempted from the blame. We have our own, because again. Because if you are, the saying in the zoo that Mugu fall, Gaimang whack. That is the nature of the beast. Anytime you fall victim, anytime for whatever reason, maybe you are naivety or stupidity or ignorance, whatever it is, you fall. Well, somebody's gonna whack because the nature of the,
once you put a price tag on yourself, there must be somebody out there who will be able to pay that price and take the money and take the content. It's always there. The greatest mistake anybody can do is to put a price tag on yourself.
Yeah.
Once you put a price tag, there will be somebody out there that can be able to pay.
Exactly.
And that is what is happening in Africa. Those people are more especially in this our struggle. There are people who are always putting a price tag on themselves.
Yeah.
Once they come into the struggle, the way they talk, the way they attend to issues, the way they behave, you see that they are already putting a price tag on themselves.
Yeah. So obviously, like when we had the likes of the Nnamdi Azikiwes, people ordinarily you would think they are well taught, but for some whatever reason, they contributed to the mess that we are trying to dug ourselves out of today. And it's real. The situation is real because, like that brother was saying before, as it is now, Sharia has commenced in Yoruba land in
And
some states.
it doesn't concern them. It doesn't show any concern. In a
But
certain country.
for me, I've always known that it will start there, and from there they will try to spread it all over, you know. So that is how, and it doesn't matter the cost, it doesn't matter how long it takes. That's how they're gonna push it. Because for the Yorubas, they were already many decades ago. They've allowed themselves to be infiltrated, and sometimes it comes with a price too. When they were all this while, you know, dining with them, you know,
Yes.
at the detriment of Biafrans, you know, rotating and sharing power and wealth and political positions in the country back and forth between them and the North. You know, when now chicken has come home to roast. So it's going to happen, and by the time it starts, people will be watching, because they don't know no bound. These Islamic Sharia proponents, these proponents, crusaders, they don't know no bound. They just keep chipping in. They said the Sharia is only for Muslims. It's not a pure lie. You know, when they bring it into the state, slowly but surely, everybody is gonna become, you know, will be affected for sure. Because then they will start giving you reasons, and before you know it, because their eyes is strictly on the ball. That's to take over. They take over the judiciary, they take over the political position. So by the time they now complain that you are being accused of indecent behavior, maybe you are eating during Ramadan and you are eating in public, or you dress certain way, or you bring tradition which they believe is against their religion of Islam. So then you will have nowhere to run to. You have nowhere to defend you. You have nowhere to hide because they would have taken over the political powers and all the position. So you will be subjected. You will be forced into it. They've done it everywhere they go, and they keep doing it. And that's what they're going to do in Yoruba land. And if the Christian section stand up to fight, well, then we shall see how far they can go with the fight, because when you open your door and you allow the enemy to come in and sow a bad seed, it germinates.
To stand up? Is it Kumuyi that is now living in UK? Is it Kumuyi that is not living in UK and he's going to
Adeboye, who is in business? Adeboye is in business transaction with them, with El-Rufai, and with Sanusi and the rest of them.
Exactly.
Adeboye is in business with them, you know. So
I think the accusation of his son came out last time when his son refused to execute the contract they gave to his son.
Exactly.
And they exactly. The case.
So the thing is, and that is the price that the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, and some other more, that is the price that we are paying, even though they've also they are doing everything they can to infiltrate Biafra land using our so-called political elites who they've sold their soul, they've sold their conscience for a pot of porridge, you know. I never ever believe in them. These people are primarily our enemy number one. That is this so-called political elite, because they know about this thing we are talking about. They know the agenda of the Fulani, but they've agreed to become a complicit in it. So that is the situation. But thank goodness, like I said, we will never ever allow. We have said it from beginning. Do your thing, do your religion, Sharia, whatever. It's not who we are. Your attempt to impose it on us will never work. If you remain one person, we will continue to resist it. And if you're going to force us to become what we are not, we will become, just to make sure we protect who we are. So there's the global conspiracy, of course there is, 100%. you know. But God too, in His wisdom, knows why He's doing what He's doing in this time we live in. Because we live in a very, we are living in a amazing time, if I can use the word, you know. And moving forward, a lot is going to be happening. You know, it's terrible. It is terrible, my brother. Let me just hang around. I'm still around with you for now. It's been somewhat very busy, but I'm around for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you for that contribution. I appreciate you. My fellow Biafrans that are watching, anywhere you're watching us from, you must understand that we are now in a very critical time, and every one of us must change our mind and change our direction of thoughts. It is now very clear the conspiracy against us is clear. It is no longer something that we got to pretend about. We have waited for a long time to make it clear. Let people not say we are speculating. Let people not say maybe we are too fast to react. It has now become very clear. And I thank Chukwu Okame that the information began to come from our lawyer and again from organizations writing boldly about the role that Finland is playing today in the continued detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Simon Ekpa. We know that Mazi Simon Ekpa has not committed any crime. And this is not the same thing playing out again.
Sorry, Mazi Chief.
Is it?
Yeah, can I, if you don't mind, can I ask, the organization of emerging African countries,
yeah.
Who are they? Is it somewhere? I mean, do we have any, like the numbers of the countries, or what is something one can Google online, or I mean, like?
Yeah, you can Google online. You will see the number of countries who are involved there. There are many African countries that are involved and registered with it.
Really?
Yeah.
As many as how many? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I can't give the actual figure now, but it's online. You Google it, you will see. You will get the information there. It's been there for a long time. It's been there for long.
Okay, just as I stated now, Organization of Emerging African Nations.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that anyway, I think it's more like what I was saying before. You know, the French and the British. When it comes to Nigeria, the British, you know, they've always insisted that nobody should interfere, that they own it. It's their business center, they run it. So, yeah, it has always been like that. But we are believing that things will begin to change moving forward due to the changes that has taken place. Amazing change has just happened, so we see how it goes. Because these people Britain, oh no, I don't know in your face, this is in your face enmity. That is what it is. They are not even, it's not hidden. They can pretend all they want. We know the game they play, you know. And Finland, it's just sad that Finland just so succumbed to their evil, to the evil of what, you know. So they not ordinarily they would have, you know, continued down the path, because Finland understand Biafra. They know that what happens in Biafra and continue to happen will not be acceptable in anywhere in the world, especially not in European countries, you know. But you know, Finland is fighting for Ukraine. They are helping Ukraine, you know, to be a free people. So how can you turn around and you fight people who also wants to be free? That doesn't make any sense, you know. But sorry, my brother, I just got.
It's okay. Thank you. It is so sad that it is happening, but whatever happens, every one of us have to be focused and understand that our freedom is in our hand, and we are going to take it whether they like it or not. You're welcome, my beloved brother Maxwell. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and speak to us, brother Maxwell. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mazuchix, and good morning from my little beautiful city of Bolgatanga in Upper East region. Namoche, I salute you. Is it Brother Chicks, right?
Christian.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Uncle. How are you, sir?
We thank God, though. And you?
I'm fine. I thank God that I have woken up today, at least to join you once again to continue my trash that I always talk about.
You're doing well. You're doing well. You're doing well, Brahman. Sometimes I see you in other platforms, you know, you are doing well. Keep on the good work.
Thank you, Namoche. Thank you, I'm grateful. You see, like Mazi Christian said, if you look at Ukraine, you see, militarily, if you look, Ukraine is not fighting, it's not defending themselves. Ukraine, this is that the war against between Russia and Ukraine is a proxy war by NATO members in order to get close at Russia, as close as they can at Russia. So this is what they are doing. It's a proxy war. Militarily, I am not in support of it. Do you remember that they signed an agreement not to allow Ukraine to be a member of NATO? Do you remember they signed an agreement under NATO that no defense weapons must be, stationed around Russia? But America started the intention of deploying, this air defense system in Poland. Have you forgotten?
Yeah.
As against the agreement they signed. Yeah. Now they are now trying to bring in Ukraine into NATO after signing that agreement with Russia. So if you were Russia, what will you do? Because the closer these people come to you, the more you are at risk. And that is the reason why Russia is responding with Cuba. I was in Cuba for some time. That is the reason why, because at Miami, you will be looking at Havana, where they call Miramar. Havana, Miramar. In the night in the hotel, there was the hotel that I lived there, they called the Twin Triton Hotel. It's a twin tower hotel. At 18th floor, you'll be looking in the night, you'll be looking at Miami street lights, just across the Caribbean Sea. Just across the Caribbean Sea. I don't know whether you remember the time when a 70-something or 80-something-year-old woman swam across Cuba to Miami, Florida. An old woman. She swam across that. It's not far. It is 45 minutes by air. It's not far. That is the reason why when this, you remember that Russia sent their own nuclear powered submarine to Cuba recently. This is a battle of agreement that they failed to fulfill, just like what Nigeria did to Biafrans, Ojukwu, Effiong, and the rest of the Biafrans. That's what they did to them. They reneged on the agreement that they push Ukraine, use Ukraine now as a Ponzi in order to get at Russia. And that is what Russia is fighting. That is what Russia is fighting. That is exactly what Russia is fighting. Now, I want to bring it home to our own side.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.